and Phantom's Black Book. So I am back again to tell you two terrifying tales this month on the show. So let us begin. This first story that I will tell is called The Infection. Enjoy it. In a neighborhood, a woman is running with her little boy. The woman's name is Fiona, and she carries her son, Billy, with her. Billy asks, "What's happening, Mom? Why is everyone attacking us?" "Because they're not feeling very well. They have some kind of infection. Come, let's get into this house." "But it's not our house, Mom." "I know, Billy, but we need to take refuge for a moment." They then go into the abandoned house that is all looted, and everything is broken. She looks around the house and finds that it is deserted. She then locks the doors tight and then goes upstairs to the bedroom of the house. She then says to Billy, "Listen, Billy, why don't we play a little game?" Billy says, "A game? What kind of a game?" "A hide and seek. You know, you like that game, don't you? You go and hide and I'll count, but stay in this house, okay? Go on." Billy then goes off to hide as Fiona starts to count. She then walks into the bathroom and looks in the mirror. She then lifts up her sleeve and sees a bite on her wrist, knowing that she will turn into the undead as she starts to feel ill. Looking in the mirror, knowing that it has spread so that she cannot just amputate her arm, she stands looking for 2 minutes before feeling nauseated and starts to vomit. She then gets a headache and a cold fever. She then comes out of the bathroom and back into the bedroom, knowing that she is going to turn. She then breaks off the door handle in the bedroom, locking herself in, and then throws the door handle out of the window, closing it, seeing zombies walking around the street, knowing that she will soon be one of them. Hoping Billy is safe, she then sits on the bed and starts to cry. Then a little voice says, "Mom, are you okay?" Fiona looks in the mirror and sees her reflection of herself sitting on the bed and sees little Billy hiding under the bed. She then realizes she has locked herself in and is close to turning. She says, "Billy, what are you doing in this room? We're playing hide and seek. You told me to hide." "Oh, no, no. You should have hid somewhere else in the house, not in this room," Fiona says. Billy says, "Are you okay, Mom?" She then tries to get the door down but is stuck inside. She then tells Billy, "Listen, Mommy is not feeling very well." She then starts to shake and have a seizure, falling to the ground. Billy goes, "Mom? Mommy?" She then dies. looking at her cold, pale body. Her eyes then open and she stands, and is now turned into a zombie, hissing and grunting at him. He says, Mommy, Mommy, please, don't hurt me, Mommy. As she is about to go for Billy, someone then breaks down the door. It is a SWAT team. Wearing biohazard suits and guns, they shoot Fiona in the head, killing her. And then they find Billy. One man in the biohazard suit says, Are you okay? You are not bitten or anything, are you? No, but I think my mum must be. I'm sorry, but your mum's dead. She got bitten by a zombie and turned. But don't worry, we have control of the situation now. We've managed to stop it spreading out of this town. What's going to happen? Well, you will come to a military camp where you will be safe, and then we'll evacuate you before dropping a bomb on this small town because, well, a nasty virus got out. A car carrying bioweapons crashed in the outside of this town, and one of the bioweapons got out. You probably don't understand this, but you're going to be safe. You need to go in this truck now, and they'll take you to a camp where they'll give you food and water. What about my mom? Said Billy. I'm sorry, but you can't be with her anymore. Is there anything else, any family you have? No, it was just me and my mom. My dad died when I was a baby. But I'm sorry. Go. You will be safe now. We won't let this spread worldwide. Then Billy goes to a camp 5 miles out of the town. Then, that night, an explosion happens in the distance. The town has a bomb dropped on it, destroying everything and stopping the virus from spreading any further than it has. Then, as Billy goes to bed, he starts feeling ill and scratches at his arm. Noticing the scratch, he sees that he then remembers his mother scratched him before she was shot dead. But Billy does not turn. He is immune, only but a carrier, and does not tell anyone this. 20 years later, Billy is a grown man, and he tells the story of how he became what he is, saying, you see, zombies, they live among us like many other undead creatures. But the only reason why I didn't turn is because, well, when a zombie bites me, they become human again. I am the cure to this infection. Did you enjoy that story? Yes. Stories of viruses is probably the last thing you want to hear about now. Well, we now have time for one more story. And this time, it is not about plagues. This next story that I'm about to tell is called The graveyard bench. Let us go. There was a youth named Errol who was sat on a bench in a cemetery. A few weeks back, his friend had been brutally murdered by someone or something, and recently heard that his friend's grave was vandalized as if someone tried to dig him up, but nothing was taken. So Errol decided to stay there, wait it out to see if anyone should come across his friend's grave. Sitting there every night, waiting. One evening, a homeless man sits with him. He then says, "Mind if I have a seat?" The old man, who is homeless, then says, "Fred is the name." The young boy Errol says, "My name is Errol." Fred then asks, "Why do you sit here for?" "What do you mean?" said Errol. "Well, you have been coming here a lot. Is it something to do with the grave of that young fellow who was killed a few weeks back?" "Yes. His name was Joey, and he was my friend. We do everything together. He was only 20 years old, and now he's dead. If only I had been there." "What happened exactly?" asked Fred, "if you don't mind me asking." "I shouldn't really be talking to strangers," said Errol. "Look, I better go. It's getting late." "Oh, don't worry," said Fred. "I will make sure your friend's grave is taken care of." Thanks. I don't even know you. Why are you being so nice and asking questions?" "Oh, when you live out on the streets rough like I do, you are grateful for the company, I guess. I've been living out on these streets for a long time. Why have you come to a graveyard for?" "Oh, I just find it peaceful," said Fred. "A peaceful place to, well, rest. You best run along now." Errol then goes off. As for Fred, he walks up to the grave and smiles, saying, "So, the grave looks like it's a mess, eh?" The next night came, and Errol was sat. Then Fred approached him and said, "Ah, you're back again." "Yes." Fred then says, "What are you eating?" "Oh, I'm just eating some garlic bread. I called into the pizza place on the way here. I was hungry. Could you please not point it my way? I have a problem with smells. I'm allergic to garlic." "Oh, I'm sorry," said Errol. "Oh, God, I really hate that smell. I'm sorry." Sitting there for hours and chatting, Errol really gets to know Fred. He then says, "Geez, you know so much about history." Fred then says, "What can I say? I love history. You talk as if you were there." "I know. Say, it's nearly 11 o'clock. Should you be getting home?" "Yes, I guess you're right. Well, hopefully see you tomorrow." Ah, yes, of course. Well, said Fred to himself, I could not get him tonight because, well, he had garlic and he stinked. I'll get him another day, as Fred looks to a person hiding in the distance. The few nights went by, and Errol and Fred became quite good friends, sitting on the bench in the graveyard, watching over Joey's tomb. Say, why do you still come here for? Said Fred. Well, I guess I never really came to terms with losing my friend. Fred then says, I asked you a while back. Do you want to tell me or talk about it? Okay. It's not an easy one, said Errol. We were out one night walking the streets, having a few beers, having some laughs. I then wanted to get some chips, so he waited across the road whilst I went and got some. When I came back across the road, he was gone, but I saw some blood. There was a trail of it. I followed it into this alleyway, and there I found my best friend with his throat ripped out like some monster got him. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible, said Errol as he started to cry. Fred then said, Hey, calm down, okay? Listen, what happened to your friend Joey? It was not your fault, it was. I could have been there with him. Nothing could have predicted this. Did they ever find who it was who did it? No. They say it happened so fast, and the CCTV does not make sense. What do you mean? Well, it's like he was fighting something, and then he just bled out through his neck. The CCTV footage does not make sense. And the person who was operating those CCTV cameras that night, he mysteriously disappeared. Did he? Then Errol looks at his friend's grave, walking up to it saying, I'm sorry, Joey. I really should have been there. He then looks and sees, standing next to a tree, a person that looks like Joey. He then says, What the? Hey, you! He then runs to the tree and finds nothing. Looking around, he then sees a man. Hey, hang on, I know you. You're that guy that was operating the CCTV footage. We was just talking about you. You've been disappeared. You've been gone for ages. I know, said the man. Say, I am very hungry. Then he asks, Why are you telling me you're hungry? Go get some food. That is the thing. There's something wrong with me. I haven't been eating for weeks, and I'm just so hungry right now. Then Errol sees another person coming. He then looks and says, No, Joey, you're alive. Joey then says, Well, technically, I'm and I'm not. What are you talking about? Wait, where's Fred? Errol turns around and there he sees Fred. Fred standing with red eyes, saying, I am sorry about this, but it's in our nature. You have become a good friend, and I value our friendship, which is why I'm not going to kill you. Well, not kill you for long. What are you talking about? Why is my friend not buried for? What's going on? There is nothing more to ask. Now just be silent. Errol then goes into a trance, and then Fred reveals fangs and bites into his neck, drinking his blood, revealing to be none other than a vampire. He then says, after a few sips, 300 years of life, and I've never grown old or tired of it. I just wish I was turned at a younger age. Fred then says to Joey and the man, "Come, my children, feed on him. But do not drink all of his blood. We need enough so that we can turn him into one of us." Then, laying helpless, Errol lays there bleeding out as Joey and the security man all gather up to him and start feeding on his blood. A few months later, Errol is now sat at the picnic, at the graveyard bench. Ashamed and feeling guilt for what he has become, Fred says, "Come, my child. It is coming light. We must retreat to the dark." "No," said Errol. "You've made me a monster. For the last time. You will feel remorse, but as time goes on, you will learn to like this. I won't. Just leave me alone. I don't want to be a vampire. I did not ask for this." "You're trying my patience, boy. Come now." The sun then begins to rise, and he says to Fred, "I'll come with you. But you're not going to the dark." Fred then said, "Oh no. You're not going to burn." "I will," said Errol. "No, you are not. You are going to come home with me now, back to the tombs. You are sired to me. I am your maker, and as your maker I command you to." "Fine." Joey then says, "This life is cool. I'm only killing people that deserve to die. But who are we to take their fate into our hands? Because it is our way of life now. You know, my mom thinks that I ran away. But I think I best go and see her. I've always wanted to have Mother for dinner." "Well, we could go together. I may bring a shock to her, but hey, if she dies of fright, she doesn't have to be dead for long." Fred then says, "You are too young to be makers. Come back to the tombs where we can rest. We'll get your mother tonight. If anyone is going to turn anyone, it is going to be me." They then retreat to their tombstones in the graveyard and go and slumber. Fred then says, "Good day, my children. Sleep well, as we have quite the night tonight." And there you have it. The two stories of this month's episode. do share down in the comments. What did you think to this month's stories? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Feel free to share. I have been your host, the Iron Phantom, and this has been the Iron Phantom's Black Book. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends and subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel if you haven't already. I shall return next month with another episode. Until then, don't have nightmares.